You've seen the headlines. I've reported on it.
Well, Jake, that teen in custody is just 16 years old.
Kids committing violent crimes.
Our top story this morning, more gun violence at a Seattle school.
I got 5.
Law enforcement experts across our region say the trend has hit a boiling point.
I've been with the Renton Police Department for 29 years now, and it is the worst that our officers have probably dealt with in that time. We were seeing kids as young as 12 and 13-year-old committing these crimes.
Renton Police Chief John Schultz says his city's stunned by the increase of juvenile crimes, especially the ones where kids are carrying guns. Renton data shows police were called to reports of juveniles committing crimes with guns almost 3 times more often in 2023 than the year before. This year, they've seen a dip, but the number is still almost double pre-pandemic statistics. One crime that really stood out, armed robberies at gas stations and convenience stores. The last 2 years, those went from almost non-existent to a serious issue among kids.
The brazenness, right? Youth going into a convenience store and doing an armed robbery on a clerk, and the impact that's going to have not only on that victim, but on our entire community.
It's not just Renton. We've gathered crime data in all 3 of Western Washington's most populated counties. In Everett, King 5 found before the pandemic charges against juveniles for gun crimes, robberies, and car thefts didn't surpass 25 in a year. In 2024, they're on pace for more than 80.
When you see this, what goes through your mind?
I think it goes to show, I guess, how accessible these weapons are to the youth when they shouldn't be.
To this young woman, these aren't just numbers, but her painful reality.
My name's Layla Adam. I'm 20 years old, and I'm the older sister of Mubarak Adam, who passed away, or was murdered actually, this January 23rd of 2024.
That day, 15-year-old Mubarak was with friends, waiting for a West Seattle Community Center gym to open to play basketball.
Seattle police are still searching for answers tonight after a teenager was shot and killed inside a bathroom at the Southwest Pool in West Seattle.
He was dead on scene. He never made it to an ER or to any emergency room.
8 months later, there's been no arrest.
So that's about as far as we know what has happened.
Those close to the investigation think there's a juvenile out there who hasn't been held accountable.
The mourning is constant. Sometimes you do get busy, and I wouldn't say you forget about it, but it goes to the back of your mind. But I think especially in happy moments is when you mourn the most. Sorry.
We're all asking the question, why is this happening? We spoke with 6 experts, from juvenile courts to law enforcement to community leaders. They believe there are 3 main drivers at the root of this crisis. Kids are getting easier access to guns. Current public policy calls for less accountability, and maybe most important, the lingering impacts of the pandemic. You said something to me that stood out, that the pandemic caused a bubble that has burst. Yes. What do you mean by that?
We are seeing young people who didn't have opportunities to engage with a caring adult. We are seeing young people that didn't have healthy meals. And when young people were faced with adversity, they went back to the skills that they learned in their trauma-informed spaces. Okay.
Antonio McLemore runs a community center that serves kids and teens in Tacoma.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. A lot of these crimes are happening in my community. I know that there are a lot of these youth.
At the Eastside Community Center, there's a colorful mural. It represents the children in Tacoma who lost their lives to gun violence. A list more than 40 names and growing.
Elijah Crawford. I know Elijah Crawford.
Another documented phenomenon from the pandemic, more Americans bought guns, and kids got their hands on them. Prosecutors tell us access to guns is driving the spike in serious crimes, and they're almost always stolen.
So when young people are displaying a behavior, they're trying to communicate, they are screaming from the mountaintop that they need help.
McLemore says the kids using these guns often have something in common.
Because what you find is that there's a lack of caring adults that were in their spaces to help equip them to process through their emotions, to give them emotional language.
Back in Renton, the department was frustrated by arresting the same kids for serious crimes over and over.
What's happening with the system where, we're doing our peace arresting them, but then we're seeing them on a continuing basis.
Eastbound across.
This March, Renton PD decided they weren't going to simply arrest kids and move on anymore. They changed course to stay more involved, coordinating with prosecutors and showing up in juvenile court to advocate for tougher consequences.
Since May, we've seen a pretty drastic decline.
This is a reminder for me that there's still work to be done.
There's no easy solution, but everyone we spoke with agrees it's going to take more than just money and resources. The key is collaboration.
It can't just be the city's job. It can't just be the teacher's job. It can't just be the family's, the parents' job. We really need each other. We really need each other. And that's what I have hope for.